Imagine living in a region that has been peaceful for thousands of years, only to discover that the ground beneath your feet is silently building up stress, preparing for a potentially catastrophic event. This is the unsettling reality for communities near the Tintina Fault in northwestern Canada. For over 12,000 years, this ancient geological fault has remained largely quiet. But recent findings suggest it may be on the verge of unleashing powerful earthquakes. The question is, are we prepared for what could come next? According to a groundbreaking study published in Geophysical Research Letters, the Tintina Fault, stretching across the Yukon Territory and into central Alaska, is under immense strain. Researchers uncovered evidence that this fault has been accumulating pressure over millennia, raising concerns about its potential to produce devastating earthquakes in the future. These quakes could reach magnitudes of 7.5 or higher, posing serious risks to cities like Dawson City and critical infrastructure such as highways and mines. But here's where things get even more intriguing. To fully grasp the significance of this discovery, let's take a step back and explore the history of the Tintina Fault. Unlike its neighbor, the Denali Fault, which famously triggered a massive magnitude 7.9 earthquake in Alaska back in 2002, the Tintina Fault has been relatively inactive in modern times. That quake, by the way, remains one of the largest inland earthquakes ever recorded in North America during the last 150 years. So why should we worry about a fault that seems so calm today? Well, appearances can be deceiving. Recent investigations reveal that while the Tintina Fault hasn't caused any significant tremors recently, it was far from dormant in prehistoric times. Scientists led by Ferran Finlay, a newly minted PhD graduate from the University of Victoria, used advanced tools like high-resolution topographic data and LiDAR technology to examine the landscape around the fault. Their goal? To uncover traces of ancient seismic activity hidden in plain sight. One key piece of evidence they looked for was fault scarps, distinctive features in the terrain created by large, shallow earthquakes. Think of these scarps as scars left behind by the earth itself after enduring violent shaking. While they might seem insignificant at first glance, measuring just a few meters wide and tall, they serve as invaluable records of past geologic events. However, finding them isn't easy, especially in densely forested regions like the Yukon. Despite these challenges, the team successfully identified several fault scarps within 20 kilometers, approximately 12 miles, of Dawson City. What they found paints a startling picture. Landforms dating back 2.6 million years showed lateral offsets of up to 1,000 meters, 3,280 feet across the fault scarp. Meanwhile, younger landforms, roughly 132,000 years old, exhibited offsets of around 75 meters, about 246 feet. These displacements indicate that the fault experienced multiple episodes of slippage due to major earthquakes throughout the Quaternary period, the era we're currently living in. Interestingly, the data also shows a lull in seismic activity over the past 12,000 years. None of the landforms from this time frame show signs of being offset by the fault, suggesting no large ruptures have occurred since then. But, and this is the part most people miss, just because something hasn't happened in a long time doesn't mean it won't happen again. In fact, the researchers believe the Tintina Fault is now entering a late stage of its seismic cycle. So, what does this mean for the future? The Tintina Fault moves slowly, with an average slip rate of 0.2 to 0.8 millimeters per year. Yet, slow-moving faults are notorious for producing infrequent but incredibly powerful earthquakes when they finally release their stored energy. Based on their calculations, Finlay and his colleagues estimate that the fault has accumulated a slip deficit of approximately 6 meters over the past 12,000 years. If all this pent-up strain were to be released at once, it would result in a catastrophic earthquake exceeding magnitude 7.5. The implications of such an event are sobering. A quake of this magnitude could devastate Dawson City and wreak havoc on nearby transportation routes and industrial facilities. It might also destabilize already precarious landslides, compounding the damage. Recognizing these risks, the researchers plan to incorporate their findings into Canada's National Seismic Hazard Model, helping authorities better prepare for potential disasters. And this is where opinions start to diverge. Some experts argue that focusing too much attention on low slip rate faults, like the Tintina, diverts resources away from higher risk areas. Others contend that understanding these quieter faults is essential for comprehensive disaster planning. Where do you stand? Do you think government should prioritize studying seemingly dormant faults, or focus solely on those with a recent history of activity? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. For further reading on related topics, check out these articles. Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. For further reading on related topics, check out these articles. Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You might be surprised. https welcome to discovermagazine.com. We verified the latest news on planet Earth. Solar heat may impact Earth's seismic activity. Sources: Geophysical Research Letters, Large Surface Rupturings, and a 12K year. Open interseismic interval on the Tintina Fault, Yukon. aguppubs.onlinelibrary.wiley.com/doifix0. Alaska Earthquake Center, Tintina Fault Earthquake near Central Alaska. Tintina Fault Earthquake near Central Alaska. Alaska Earthquake Center, the 2002 Denali Fault Earthquake, 20 years of shaking up Alaska. Earthquake.alaska.edu 2002 Denali Fault Earthquake, 20 years shaking Alaska seismology. USGS, Quaternary Fault Scarp. www.usgs.gov/quaternary fault-